My name is Daniel Wynn, and by day I invest in sports cards, but by night I make videos about investing in sports cards. I am the great curator. Join me on my journey to break even in the hobby that we all love. Hello YouTube, I'm the great curator and welcome to my channel. Going forward, I'm going to make my videos a little bit different. I've listened to your feedback. You guys want me to cut down my intros a little bit shorter, so I'm going to attempt to do that. I'm also getting a new camera, so you might notice things look a little bit different, and I've started to kind of teach myself how to really edit these videos. So hopefully, like I promised you guys in the previous videos, as I get more experience, I'm going to put more time and effort, and hopefully I'm going to try to improve the quality of my content going forward. So hopefully you guys notice that. Okay, so with that out of the way, let me just tell you that if you're new to this channel, thank you for visiting. The reason that I do these videos, the reason I put this out, this is my way of kind of giving back to the hobby, okay? These videos are for educational purposes only. They're me giving my opinion, my perspective, my insight on these topics and issues that I like to discuss, that I find interesting. So hopefully that you guys get value out of that by watching these videos, okay? Also, this is a way for me to kind of use the YouTube platform to kind of spread my message of positivity within the hobby. I'm trying to start a movement, guys. I'm trying to establish a high level of civility for all of us to follow. I believe that if we do that by being kind, respectful, nice to each other, helpful, if we do that, we can weed out all the negativity, all the bad actors that are currently in the hobby, guys, okay? So help support this movement. You can do that by liking, subscribing, sharing, watch my videos. All that stuff really helps me, and it helps spread this message out there to the community. Okay, so with that, let's talk about today's topic here. This is going to be my reaction to Fanatics' announcement. I guess you could say this is part 2, because I made a previous video when they first came out saying that they bought the licenses. Now this is the part 2 where they've actually kind of announced some of their plans for that, okay guys? So if you don't know, I'm sure you've probably heard from other people talking about this, but if you don't know, the Fanatics CEO, Michael Rubin, he went on to CNBC to do an interview to kind of talk about what his vision for what Fanatics is going to do with the trading card licenses, okay? And he said 2 things that I thought were very important that I want to highlight here, okay? And then we'll kind of analyze what that means for the hobby. But the first thing that he talked about was he wanted to streamline the consumer experience by going direct to the consumer, okay? Streamlining the customer experience to go direct to the consumer. So basically, he wants to cut out all the middlemen that are in between the process to get the cards directly to us, okay? So that is very interesting. The second thing that he talked about is he talked about the valuation that he was putting on the trading card component of Fanatics' business, all right, which is $10.4 billion, I believe, was the valuation that they put in there, okay? So we're going to talk about that. That's also very interesting. Okay, so let's get into the common themes that I'm hearing from the other people that are putting out videos or putting out messages about their reactions, right? I'm seeing 3 common themes here among people who are looking at this from a negative point of view, all right? The first one is people are worried about change in the industry. Secondly, people are worried about the uncertainty of Fanatics executing this strategy. And then third is that people are worried that it's going to bring down the hobby. So let's address those points really quick, guys, before I give you my thoughts on what I think is actually going to happen. Okay, so as far as change in the industry goes, guys, you know, there are people out there that do not like change, all right? There are people that are kind of comfortable where they are, they're set in their ways, and they don't want anything to change, and that's just how they are, no matter what happens. But in this hobby, things have to change, okay? If the hobby doesn't change, it never improves, okay? If we never moved from raw cards to graded cards, we would not be where we are today, okay? If we never moved from base cards to having inserts where people could chase that, to having, you know, autographs, patches, things would not be as interesting as they are today. So change is always good for the industry. We have to adapt to the times, right? Things cannot be stale forever. Otherwise, people will lose interest, or they'll grow out of the hobby, which is what has happened, which is what happened, you know, over the last couple decades, right? Before everybody got back into this, right? So change is good for the industry, guys. Do not fear change. As long as it's as long as it builds the hobby, gets more people interested, change is always good, okay? We have to adapt to the times. And this applies to anything, guys, okay? Change is always good in an industry. It shakes things up, it makes things more competitive, and usually the consumer, us, we benefit from that, all right? So that's the first thing I want to address. Second thing is the uncertainty, all right? A lot of people are commenting, they're saying, oh, well, you know, Fanatics, they've never manufactured cards before. What do they know about the trading card game? They want to do this. They don't know how things work. You know, whatever uncertainty you may have, you have to kind of give them a chance, right? You have to give them a chance to execute this strategy that they're going for. They would not get into this space without doing the proper research. Okay, they would not make these announcements, make these plans without having a strategic team behind it, planning everything and telling them what the certain outcome is going to be. Okay, so you have to give them credit. They are a billion-dollar corporation. They have the resources, they have the manpower, they have the knowledge to execute this strategy that they're planning. So give them a chance to do it. Okay, if they fail, they fail. But we have to just kind of hope for the best and see what they can do. All right. And then the third thing is, some people are commenting that maybe Fanatics, they're such a big corporation, they look at them as in a negative light. They think that they're going to bring down the hobby. I don't think that's true, guys, at all. All right. When we look at this, we have to understand that, you know, again, they would not be spending all this money if they didn't want to profit from it, right? So when we look at what they're doing. They're raising money through investment from their $10.4 billion valuation. They're buying licenses so that they can have control of these licenses and manufacture the products that they want. They're talking about streamlining the customer experience. All that stuff can only help us, okay? Help us as a community and help the hobby grow. All that stuff will benefit us, guys, okay? So we have to look at it from that light. We have to look at it from a positive light and seeing that they're going to bring a lot of excitement, a lot of change, a lot of new people to the hobby. So I don't think that's going to bring down the hobby at all, okay? I don't think it could get any crazier than it is right now with the way that things are with the prices and distributions and all that stuff. So, you know, I'm very bullish on what Fanatics can bring to the hobby, okay? So now that we talked about like what the general concerns are, let me talk about what I think the real impact is going to be based off of those two announcements that he made, the two plans which I highlighted, okay? All right, so let's talk about the first one in terms of streamlining the customer experience going direct to consumer. So what does this mean, guys, okay? If you guys don't know how things work right now, right, Ruben made a point to highlight how the current manufacturers are making all their money. He said that Topps, excuse me, he said that Topps is making $1 billion in revenues selling only to the distributors, right? If you guys don't know what a distributor is, they're like a company that has a contract where they get all the products from the manufacturer, and then it's their job to spread those products out. They call that allocation. To spread them out to whoever has a contract with that distributor, all right? This could be an LCS owner. This could be, a breaker or anybody that has a business and has a contract with the distributor. They get product from them. All right. Even Target, Walmart, they get product directly from the distributors. Guys, if you ever notice, Target employees, they don't stock the shelves. Okay. The distributor goes to those locations and they stock it for them. Okay. The distributor controls all the products. And sometimes LCS owners are also distributors too, okay? But the point is the distributors have all the control. They have all the controls and they distribute the products nationwide. And the problem with that is, you guys know, this process is highly inefficient right now, all right? People cannot get enough product. People cannot get enough product to meet the demand. That's why when an LCS they get a product at a retail price, they mark it up 2, 3, 4 times the amount of what it costs them because the demand is so high, and the distributors have not been able to meet that demand for whatever reason, right, guys? So whatever process they have right now is highly inefficient. So what Fanatics is trying to do is they want to cut out the distributors. Okay, so if this is the product, this is where it starts from the manufacturer, and this is the end consumer, and all this stuff in the middle is people that have their hand in the cookie jar, trying to take their share of the pie. before it gets to us. They want to cut out all that fat in the middle, guys. And that's probably a good thing, to be honest. That's what I believe. Okay, that if they can make the process more efficient and get the products to the consumer, where we don't have to pay huge markups, where we can get things quicker, where we don't have to fight with each other, then that's only going to help the hobby. That's only going to help the community, guys. Does anybody remember just a few months ago when things were crazy? When we were trying to get products, it was crazy. I would have to go to like Target at 7 a.m. in the morning to wait in line for an hour when they open at 8 to maybe get one product if I was lucky, if they were limiting purchases for people. But when they weren't limiting purchases, the people who were there, they would sleep there, okay, the night before when they knew the distributor was coming. And then they would buy up all the product and then resell it immediately, on the secondary market. And it was insane. People were getting in fights over this, So that whole process, dude, guys, I'm sick of it. Okay, everybody is sick of that process. Okay, they want to be able to get these products when they come out at a reasonable price. So if Fanatics can streamline the process by cutting all those people out, then I'm all for that. Okay. Also, understand that we live in an age where we pay for convenience. We want convenience. That's why Amazon does so well, because we can buy anything we want on Amazon just with a couple clicks of the button. That's why we're spoiled. We have like 1 day, 2 day shipping. Sometimes they're trying to do same day shipping on some of these things. That's why we can order food from the restaurant to be delivered to us. We live in an age of convenience. Okay, we want everything done quick. So if we don't have to, fight for people to go get these products, if we don't have to jump over all these hoops, and we can just order it directly online, have it shipped to us, or something like that, dude, guys, that's a good thing for us. Okay, we have to embrace that. All right, going direct to the consumer, that's great for us. It's going to hurt the middleman. If you have a business where you're a distributor, you're a middleman, or something like that, it's going to hurt you guys. Okay, and you're going to have to adapt to that. All right, which leads me to my next point, is that these people, don't feel bad for them. They've had a good run, guys. These distributors, they've had a great run. They've made a lot of money, but now it's time for them to adapt. Okay, and I'm sure they will find a way to adapt. There's cottage industries all around the hobby market right now. When PSA came out, we didn't know what that was, but they created a business around grading cards, right? Then other people created a business around submitting cards to PSA and other grading companies. Then people started making supplies for those graded cards. So there are cottage industries that always pop up, all over the place, okay? If there's enough demand for the product, somebody will come up with some type of side business, side hustle, and turn that into something. And that's what these distributors will have to do. They will have to adapt. If they don't adapt, then they have to go somewhere else. That's just the nature of business, all right? So don't feel bad for these guys. I'm sure they will be fine. I'm sure they're already thinking about what to do, all right? As far as the LCS owners, I'm sure they're going to be able to get products. They're not going to definitely go out of business. We need the LCS shops in our community, so they will find a way to get their allocations, okay, guys? But basically, if they go to direct consumer, they cut out all the middlemen, and it gets to us better, it gets to us easier. That's a good thing for us as consumers, all right? The next thing I want to highlight is the $10 billion evaluation, the $10.4 billion valuation, guys. Okay, so if you don't know what valuation means, let me just give you a crash course, okay? When a company is trying to raise money from outside investors, they have to put a valuation on their business, which is what they think their business is worth. So anybody that wants a piece of their business has to buy in at that price. Think of it like a box break, right? You have a box of NT that's like for $5,000 or whatever, and the person's selling rights to each pack in the box. Same thing. It's like a valuation, basically. Okay, so when they say that they have a $10.4 billion valuation, imagine that, guys. Imagine that you're an investor trying to buy a share of Fanatics. Let's just say one share is $100,000. Okay, guys, that's major money for the hobby, right? And then he also said that these investors, they expect a 3 to 5 time return on their money within that investment window. So the investment windows usually last, their hold period is usually like let's just say 5 to 10 years, right? So these investors, they're buying one share for like $100,000, and remember, I just made up that number. They're expecting a 3 to 5 return on that within a 5 to 10 year period. That's an example, guys. So these people that are investing, they're not necessarily card collectors. I doubt any of them are card collectors, okay, or in the hobby. They're just looking at this strictly from a business perspective and looking at what Fanatics is doing as an investment, okay? So when you have that type of money, when you have those type of people in the game, they don't mess around, guys. They don't mess around. They have entire teams of analysts that will do the due diligence, that will research all the numbers, that will run all the scenarios, to make sure that this is a safe investment for them. This is not a big gamble, I should say, okay? So that lets me know that they are very confident in what they're doing. They're very confident in the plan that they have, and they know that they can execute it. And they're such a big company that they have the experience to execute that strategy, okay, guys? So when we know that that type of money is coming into the hobby, that is going to lead to a lot of changes, okay? And these changes are going to be good for us. The more money that comes into the hobby, the more attention, the more product, the more services that come out of that investment, that's going to benefit us as consumers. People will take notice, people will join the hobby, people will get in, and more money will cycle through the ecosystem of our hobby. We'll buy cards, we'll trade cards, we'll sell cards, all that stuff. All that stuff is good for us, guys, okay? That's why this news is so exciting for us as consumers. The only people that are worried about this are the people that are going to be cut out, which is the distributors, the middleman, anybody that's in the middle of the process right now, okay? That is standing between us and Fanatics. They're going to be affected. But for us, for the 99% of us, of you guys that watch my videos, or the consumers that buy cards, we are going to benefit from this. Okay, believe me, it's always good when more money comes into the hobby. We might complain that some of the prices might go up, or you know, we might be priced out of certain cards. There are certain cards that we won't be able to buy anymore, or whatever, guys. That's going to happen no matter what. But what we have to understand is that there's a lot of attention on the hobby right now. Okay, and that's a good thing for us. So that's pretty much my thoughts on this, guys. I'm excited to see what Fanatics will do. I think that they're going to definitely make a lot of changes to the hobby, to the industry, but I think that we will benefit from those changes as consumers. All right? If you're a distributor, you're in trouble. Yes, but you need to adapt. I'll tell you guys right now, you need to adapt. Do not complain. Do not, think that you're going to go out of business. Find a way to adapt. There is enough room in the hobby for everybody to make money and everybody to coexist, okay? So just think about that. But for the rest of us, this is good news, guys. Keep an eye on what's going on. Pay attention to this. It does affect us, but I think it will affect us in a good way, okay? All right. Hopefully you guys got value out of that. If you have any comments, please leave them down below. I'd love to hear you guys' opinion on this. Let me know what you guys think, all right? Put the comments down below. Remember, these are discussion videos. I want all my subscribers, all my viewers to interact with each other, all right? Not just me. Just don't interact with me. Interact with each other in the comments below. If you found value in this video, please like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. If you don't want to do any of that stuff, guys, just watch my other videos. I put all this content out there for free to help you guys. That's my way of kind of giving back to the hobby. The positive messages that I have received from you guys have been so awesome. Thank you so much. I really do appreciate it. And hopefully that's it. And you guys found value in this video. And then, I will see you in the next one. All right? Thank you. See you.